Welcome to episode 0 of Another Pokémon Podcast. My name is Becs.
My name is Galutrad, and today we're going to be talking about what Pokemon means to us. So this is Another Pokemon Podcast brought to you by the lovely folks over at Sixfive Media. Thank you, David, for allowing us to be a part of your podcast empire.
Well, now hold on. This is episode 0, so technically he hasn't allowed us to be part of it.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But thank you for giving us a shot. We appreciate it, and we're excited to be here.
Yeah, absolutely.
On this journey.
So, Bex.
Yes.
What does Pokemon mean to you?
I would say that Pokemon is just a great, nostalgic, warm place for me. It doesn't matter whether I'm watching the show, whether I'm playing a game. It just really brings me back in time to being young and just giving me some escape from who I am and who I was when I was a kid, and brings back a lot of nostalgic, nice, cozy, gross, warm feelings.
Yeah, I get that completely. There's something really exciting about every new Pokemon release, and like, even though it's so built in nostalgia, it also is just, it's something that's grown with us from an early age all the way to today.
Now, yeah. Currently.
To the point where I talked about it on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, a little bit, and with Pokemon Horizons, which I thought was coming out yesterday, the day that we're recording this, or the day before we were recording this, turns out it's not. It's a month or so down the line, but I tweeted that I was excited to start fresh again in Pokemon, to watch an anime that, for at least in America's purposes, kind of started it all. And that's really where both of our starts, journeys with Pokemon started.
Pokemon journeys, if you will. Yeah. I wish my journey had started as a 10-year-old leaving my house.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Jumping into a forest to catch a caterpillar.
I think you're this way too. I'm so the opposite of David from Another Zelda podcast, where I don't like camping. But if I could catch Pokemon, if I could go on a Pokemon journey, you better believe.
If we were in the world of Pokemon,
it would be a lot.
We would love
sense.
Camping. Yeah, 100%.
It would make a lot more sense.
We'd have Pokemon to help us camp. Be great. Whatever.
I don't have to worry about bears. My Charmander will burn them all.
100%. Yeah, I'm very much. If I have to go camping, please have me in a camper with shelter and running water.
Yeah.
Thanks. No, I agree. That's, unlike one of our other favorite series, The Legend of Zelda, I would want to be in this world. I would not want to be in the world of Zelda. Yeah. I would be dead. Yeah. I wouldn't even be here.
Same.
Being in the world of Pokemon would be a fantastical, wonderful, amazing journey. And I think that's the other thing that drew it to me, is it's very much about companionship and friendship and building relationships. The show, the games, both of that is that way. And so I've always been drawn to that aspect of it as well, I think.
Yeah, it's really like a utopian society, so much so that even the developers and makers of Pokemon have commented, like, when asked questions like, what happens to a Pokemon inside its Pokeball, they're always like, well, it's the perfect environment. It's like, what do they eat in the Pokemon world? Well, they don't eat Pokemon. They have synthetically made food.
Thank God they don't eat Pokemon. Can you imagine how dark that would be? Like, well, darling, we don't have any food. We gotta resort. We gotta take out the Slowpoke.
Oh my goodness.
The Slowpoke Tails was the most traumatic.
That was weirdly
villain.
Dark for Pokemon Gold.
That was very dark. For those of you that aren't familiar, in the second generation of Pokemon in the Johto series, Team Rocket, the notorious villain, decided to cut off Slowpoke's tails and sell them. And why? Why would they do that? Slowpoke does not deserve that level of disrespect. He deserves some disrespect, but not that level of disrespect.
He deserves some disrespect.
Especially that shiny banana that kept eluding you.
Oh my God, that's
a story for another time.
It is indeed. And there will be many stories for another time on this show, hopefully. But today, like we said, is a story about our journey with Pokemon.
It's all about us and Pokemon.
So do you want to start, or do you want me to kind of talk how I got into Pokemon?
Yeah, I can start. So, kind of touching base on the game that I mentioned. That was really my first dive into the gaming side of Pokemon. Was Pokemon Silver. I was late to the games. I was 9, I think, when I picked up Silver with my grandmother, who was very wonderful. Although she did try to make me leave the game at her house, where I could only play it when I 100%. Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, Grandma, that is not."
how Game Boy games work.
It's not how this works. So I begged her, and she said, "Fine, you have to leave one game here though at a time, so you have a game here to play." And I was like, "It's a portable, okay." So I did. Out of respect, I left. I think I left 102 Dalmatians because
the proper choice.
Right, correct, yeah. And took 100% took Pokemon with me. But yeah, that's how I got into the game. I was obsessed with the show and the movies. My brothers and I loved it. We had multiple episodes on VHS, recorded and professionally crafted VHS. Really loved the movies. I definitely remember going to sit in the movie theater with my cousin, and I had my little Pokemon snack bucket thing, and we were ready. We were ready to go. Loved the cards. I never played the card game though, which I'm sure you'll be able to tell us a lot more about the card game and the rules for those interested in the trading card game. I just liked looking at them. I thought they were pretty. I liked the holographic ones.
Absolutely, you got to have the foil cards.
You do, and the closest I came to playing the game was renting a VHS of the trading card game, about all about it, about the rules, about how it got started from Line Ball Library.
Was that? Did it tell you? It was one of those 90s infomercial.
It was a very infomercially, and I rented it 3 months in a row. Every time we would go to the library, I'm like, yeet, picking this, or not yeet, give me picking this up, taking it back home with me to watch again. And my mom was like, "Haven't you rented?" I'm like, "Yes, mind your business." But yeah, I would rent it from the library so that I could watch other people play the game.
Oh my God, you were twitching before Twitch was even a thing. You were VHS twitching.
I was VHS twitching. You heard it here first.
Oh,
copyright that VHS twitcher right here.
Oh my goodness.
Old school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So that was my dive in. I picked up the older games once I got into Silver. I stayed obsessed with it. We had tons of little memorabilia, bath toys and Pop-Tart toys and Burger King golden card collectible thingies. So.
Yeah. Did you ever do the Eggo waffles where they would heat up and have the Pokemon's face burned into them?
No. I think the only food I can think of is, I think we had a Pokemon cereal thing.
Yeah.
Okay, and then am I making that up? And then we 100% had the Pop-Tart figures. Tons of those.
I feel like Pokemania was the biggest thing in the world when we were growing up.
Oh, it was huge.
We literally grew up.
We were in the thick of it.
Yeah. Nintendo and general gaming was the prime of it was a little bit before our time. Or we grew up with it because it was already established. It wasn't something that gaming in general was something that we grew up with because it already existed, but Pokemon came along with us.
Yes. Yeah, we were the target audience.
Yeah.
Of Pokemon. We were the age to get into it. And I forgot to mention this. We also had I think we've talked about this before, the board games. So we had Pokemon Monopoly, Pokemon Yahtzee.
Pokemon Yahtzee
had a handheld
Oh, wow.
game version of Pokemon Yahtzee.
And Pokemon the
Master. Yeah, yep, so good. Such a good game.
Gosh, I used to play that game by myself.
I did too. My Beanie Babies played with me. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We
were lonely children.
Oh, but we had our friends with us, our Pokemon friends.
Yes.
Yeah, so
we had our
imaginary friends.
And Digimon.
We don't talk about Digimon on this podcast.
We don't talk about Digimon.
that shall not be named. I had a very similar-ish journey, so I don't know how I would have known this. I assume my older brother, because pretty much everything that he thought was cool, I thought was cool. And he plays a probably detrimentally so to his own personal beliefs. He played a big part in me being obsessed with Nintendo and Pokemon. Yep. But I remember being excited for Pokemon the anime to release, and it released. We were doing a little bit of research before the show. It released before the games released in America. So they knew, Japan knew what was going to happen, I think.
Was it always on Kids WB in the beginning, or was it?
It wasn't. I think it was on just like regular TV, and then shortly, it was only on that for a brief amount of time. And then I think it mostly was on Kids WB while we were kids until that got off the air.
Yeah, because I remember watching like every day when I was younger. I'd go home and I'd watch Pokemon and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Like immediately. Yeah. Another thing we won't talk about, I guess.
Yeah. No, we can. Pokemon like things. It is part of its history, I feel.
Right.
But got super into the TV show, and then I was lucky enough to get a Game Boy and a copy of Pokemon Red for Christmas that same year.
Okay.
And it's kind of a funny. So I didn't. It was like one of those instances where I opened Pokemon Red before the Game Boy, but Pokemon Red was from my grandma, and so it was like, no. Thanks, Grandma. I didn't. No. I don't actually have the Game Boy. And then my mom and dad were like, well, wait, hold on. You've got other presents. And
that's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
So did you have, I'm just out of curiosity, did you have like the Game Boy, or did you have like a Game Boy Color?
I had a Game Boy Color.
Okay.
So I got the red Game Boy Color, which is why you so lovingly, many years later, bought me a replacement one because
yeah. And I remember that now. Yeah.
But I got a copy of Red and a Game Boy Color, a red Game Boy Color. It's more like pinkish. But it
that would have bothered me because red is red.
No, if you look at it, it's that. Yeah, it's like it does stand out. My cousin got a copy of Blue and a blue Game Boy Color. Mm-hmm. Which was matched much better. And then eventually I ended up with a yellow one because my original red one got smashed in school, I think, for something.
Okay.
Which I'd never learned my lesson, because you'll find later on that I had the exact same thing with my DS in school. I got hit by a dodgeball. But yeah, so Pokemon Red, and then the TCG came out shortly after that, and I guess for my birthday, I remember being 6 specifically, but it must have been for my birthday, because I don't think my brother would have just brought me a deck of Pokemon cards when I was sick to make me like happy or something. Yeah, but so it must have been for my birthday, but he gave me the Zap deck that had Pikachu and Mewtwo in it.
Oh, cute. Okay.
And so that got me into the TCG, and so I was instantly hooked at movies, games, cards.
I wanted to be. It had too many rules. I don't like rules.
My whole thing. Well, I keep saying I had a brother and sister growing up, but like I was basically an only child because they were from a previous marriage, and there's a big age gap. I think there's like 8 years between me and my sister, and then my brother's older than my sister. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's hooks in me really, really quickly, and then it just never left.
Yeah. No, I can't. I don't remember a single time. I can remember a time in like early high school, maybe late middle school, where I was like, well, I don't want to tell anyone that I still play Pokemon. And that was kind of sad, because I think that was when I started to think it was like, because it was beating my head, like this is for kids. And I was like, well, I'm an adult. Obviously, I'm 12 years old as an adult.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And so I remember like hiding my obsession with Pokemon. So I didn't get any new Pokemon games. So I told you this. My first time playing Diamond was on the Switch, the remake.
And mine was too. So that was actually something that you and I bonded over early on, is we found out that our Pokemon journeys were
very
opposite, but similar in the sense that like when I got Red, you eventually, because you started with Silver,
had Yellow.
but you had Yellow, but then you had silver and I had gold.
Yes.
And then you got
Ruby.
ruby and I had sapphire. Yeah. And then we both skipped diamond and pearl.
We both skipped diamond and pearl, yeah.
Yeah.
And so what black and white would have been after that.
Yep.
That came out very late.
It did.
Though, didn't it?
Yeah, the 3DS was already out. I remember that being... So the black and white came out while the 3DS was out, and I remember people being upset.
The DS?
No, the 3DS. So Diamond and Pearl, because the DS had...
Oh, the DS had Diamond and Pearl.
The DS had Diamond and Pearl, and then Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which are the best Pokemon games.
They are so good. Yes. Okay, I'm with you now. So it was Diamond and Pearl. Was it black and white and then Soul Silver? Because I remember playing Soul Silver as a young adult.
I think it was Diamond and Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver.
Okay, maybe I was late.
Because Heart Gold and Soul Silver were released after Diamond and Pearl, because they always do, and we'll talk about this.
We're gonna have to literally put a timeline on here of when the games came out, so we can stop sounding old and forgetting everything.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl got Heart Gold and Soul Silver as like a way to introduce more Pokemon into the game of Diamond and Pearl, because the original Diamond and Pearl games had a very lackluster Pokedex. This was before Pokedexes meant everything to everybody, and people started getting mad when they didn't include everything.
You know what? You're right, because Soul Silver had the all-encompassing Pokedex.
Yes, it did.
And that only included the first 4 generations of Pokemon.
Yes, it did.
So Black and White would have had to have come after.
Yeah.
That. Okay, I'm picking up what you're putting.
And Black and White was the start of competitive, like the real start of competitive Pokemon.
And that was my first, my first anime convention as an adult. Black and White had just come out. So there was a ton of Black and White cosplays.
Yes.
We had, who was the main guy? N?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody loves N.
So many N cosplays
that
year.
Yeah.
An overwhelming amount of N cosplays. There were N's everywhere. And I was just like, hello.
Yeah. No, everyone loves N. And yeah, but you're right. All that to say, Black and White came out so late in the DS's life cycle that the 3DS was already out, because I worked at GameStop at the time when that came out.
Oh, so you're the authority.
I'm the authority. Yes. I remember people being upset that it wasn't a 3DS game, because it was like, well, this should be for the new console. That's what people do every time there's a new console out. We're still doing that to this day with Switch and 3DS games and PS5 and PS4 games and all that. But yeah, so that was a big thing. And then everyone kind of got befuddled by X and Y, which were the actual 3DS games. But during that time, we both skipped Diamond and Pearl, got back into it with Black and White.
Soul Silver and Gold.
Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Yes. And I think that, honestly, truly, because I had a DS, I had no excuse for not playing Diamond and Pearl other than just the embarrassment, right?
Yeah.
Quote, unquote. I remember getting Emerald. I remember going to it wasn't a GameStop, it was like a used store like you do. And I remember trading in something to get Emerald. And I remember destroying Emerald. I backward and forward beat that game. And that was my senior year. And so then I guess Soul Silver and Gold, Heart
Gold and Soul Silver.
Heart of Gold, yes.
Heart of Gold. Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
The Heart of the Gold. That came out.
That's the heart of the cards.
This is not a Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. That came out. That had to have come out then, because I think that's what's like, oh my gosh, yes, Pokemon. I love Pokemon.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding?
Yeah.
I'm not cool. I've never been cool. So I jumped right back into it with that, because that was my favorite game.
Yeah.
Silver was my favorite. And I was like, Soul Silver? Music to my ears. My heart's desire is here. And so Chris, my best friend Chris, and I played both of those games just nonstop. We were obsessed with Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yeah. We had I don't remember if I was working at GameStop when Heart Gold and Soul Silver came out, but I do know that while I was there, we had competitions on who could rack up the most steps on the Pokewalker.
Oh, the Pokewalker!
Yeah.
Okay,
by far the best extra that they've ever released for a Pokemon game.
Was that the same? Because Let's Go had the beautiful Pokemon Joy-Con.
Yeah.
So and you can put a Pokemon in it, and you can walk with that too.
Yes.
Could you put a Pokemon in the...
Yeah.
Okay,
And
I couldn't remember.
It would, I don't actually know.
Would it make a little cry of the Pokemon or something?
It would.
Okay.
And you could, I think you could do like very, very minor battling with like just single button, kind of like Pokemon Go, where you just tap the screen. But I think there was a button to do that, and I think it would gather up like items for you. That's what I'm remembering, but I could totally be wrong on that. But yeah, so we both got back into it in Heart Gold and Soul Silver.
Yep.
Picked up Black and White, and you got black and I got white.
Yep.
Which I didn't mention this before, but do you know that the reason that I picked gold over silver is because I thought Lugia, the bird with wings, I thought it was weird that its wings had hands. Have I ever told you that before?
No,
yeah,
you've not told me that. I
specifically picked Ho-Oh because I thought, I was like, this is a bird. That other thing has hands, and it's not. It's weird. And which is funny because then Pokemon the movie 2000 is my favorite Pokemon movie.
You're such a weirdo. Are you gonna ruin every legendary Pokemon in the show? Is that your goal?
Why not?
Oh, no. Let me tell you what's wrong with Articuno. Who needs that guy?
Yeah, Black and White. I skipped Black and White too, and I think you did too.
Yeah, we both skipped it. Yep, we sure did.
But then X and Y, and you got X.
I got
Or was that the one that we did get the same game?
I think I got X.
I got Y.
I don't think I got Y because Y had the ugly bug on it, didn't it?
No, the bacon dragon.
Bacon dragon.
Looks like a piece of, especially its shiny form. Y has Evital, who is like the weird red and black dragon flappy thing.
I'd have to see it to remember it. No, wait. No. I had the deer.
That's X. That's Xerneas.
Oh.
Yeah. So you had X. I had
the magical
Y.
deer.
Yes, you did. And then
that is its Pokemon name, magical
deer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's its subspecies.
Yes,
Sun and Moon came out. You got Moon.
I got Moon.
And I got Sun. And we both got not far in that game at all.
Nope.
Didn't.
We will play it though.
We will.
For the sake of this podcast.
Absolutely. I'd love to do reviews
and I will
of
hate
everything.
it the entire time.
We both skipped Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon.
We did because that's dumb. I mean, I own it. I guess I will be playing it.
Do you miss the combination game? Because with Black and White, they did Black and White 2, and then X and Y, they just didn't do anything. They made Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Those were so good.
Those were great.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
But they don't do that anymore. They don't do the combination game anymore. They always do. They don't always do, because like Sword and Shield didn't get a sequel. It just got DLC.
Are you saying, when you say combination game, just to clarify, are you saying like a third game? Like they had the two games, you pick one or the other, and then there was this beautiful third gem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So when was the last time that we had that?
The last time was Platinum.
Was Emerald?
No, Platinum.
Oh, Platinum.
Yeah.
Right. Which I didn't play at the time. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that was always fun to me, but it also made it hard. This is so dumb, but like I have to say it. It made it challenging when I was a kid, because if I just convinced someone to buy me Ruby, let's say, and Emerald comes out, I want Emerald because I'm like, oh, shiny.
But they just bought you.
Your parents are logical, and they're like, it's literally the same game.
Yeah.
Like, we're not buying you this. It's like, no, but it's slightly different. Is not a good argument to get another game. So,
but now as adults, we have our own money to be responsible with.
Okay, yes. But it was hard because like that third shiny game was always like the obvious choice. You know what I mean? Like Yellow was great because it had references to the beloved show, and you could Pikachu follow you.
Yeah.
The end. No other argument.
Another reason why Heart Gold and Soul Silver are great, because the Pokemon could follow you.
Pretty cute. I loved it. I mean, they can do that in the current game, but
but not the same way.
It's not as cute.
No,
it's not the same.
Pixel Pokemon is the way to go.
Okay, but hold on. I get what you're saying, combination game, but now we get DLC. We didn't get DLC before.
We do, yeah. We didn't get DLC
because I think
they did kind of like because even the events were mostly just show up to a place and get a free Pokemon.
That's not a real thing. That was just come to this GameStop and enter code or whatever. Yeah, that's not that's not DLC. No, like extra story and everything. Like I really appreciate that aspect of Pokemon on the Switch, I guess, is that we get that additional something there. I mean, that's why I was so obsessed with Silver anyways, because I played Silver and I'm thinking, okay, I'm at the Elite Four. This is the end of the game. And it's like, oh, but
the
wait.
big twist.
Yeah, you gotta go beat this other guy. He's pretty cool. And I was like, what other guy?
Yeah.
And then I went and it's red. And I'm like, what?
I beat the whole Kanto
crazy.
region. And then...
So cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like living now. I'm living in the moment. So real quick before, because I think we're about at time where we wanted to be for episode 0. So before we head out, because we will never do a general what's your favorite Pokemon top 10, because that would be, I mean,
it'd be really hard. There's
there's so many Pokemon.
There are. I'd have to spend weeks figuring out exactly what my top are.
Right. So what is your all-time favorite Pokemon? For those of us that do not know that answer, and why is it your all-time favorite Pokemon?
So my favorite Pokemon of all time,
and what do you nickname him?
Is Raichu.
Okay.
And I always call him Sparky.
Sparky.
Very generic, very typical,
basic
very
of you.
basic. And I first saw Raichu in the battle against Lieutenant Surge.
Yeah.
I love how chubby he is.
He's so chubby.
And Pikachu used to be chubby too, but like
I
loved Raichu. And I loved Raichu so much that I don't know if you knew this or not, but in the original Yellow game, you couldn't evolve Raichu. I know you knew that. You couldn't evolve Pikachu.
You could.
Only if you traded him away.
No, you could.
No.
He just couldn't follow you anymore.
No, I promise.
We gonna fight.
Okay.
We gonna fight.
I seem to recall that if you tried to give him a Thunderstone, he got angry.
Okay, well.
And wouldn't let you.
Maybe he did.
Because it was like
Ash's
the anime.
Pikachu.
It's like you're playing Ash's game. Yeah.
We will be looking this up after the show. We will be.
This podcast is going to start so many fights between us.
Yes. We go fight.
But I specifically traded my Pikachu, because weirdly you can do that, to a friend who then gave it a...
It's just so sad.
It is.
It's like goodbye.
I traded my Pikachu to a friend just so it could evolve into Raichu.
Okay.
And then traded it back, and obviously it won't follow you anymore, but I had my Raichu in my copy of Pokemon Yellow.
Depressing. Can't you catch other Pikachu in the forest?
You know, I'm not. I know you can in Red and Blue.
I think they're rare.
They might be. I don't remember. Rarer. I don't know. You know, you can only get one Eevee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so Raichu all the way. Fun little fact about me: I hate Alolan Raichu with a burning passion, and my community loves to pick on me for it. We can go into that more in an episode maybe where we do like a deep dive on our favorite Pokemon, but not top Pokemon, but just our personal favorites. But yeah, that's mine. What's yours?
Okay, so I take back all of the making fun of you for being basic real quick. Because we both vanilla latte Pokemon girlies here. Yeah. My favorite Pokemon is Espeon, which I feel like is probably, other than Umbreon.
Oh, an evolution.
Yeah. But I've always loved Espeon because Silver was my first Pokemon game. I knew that Eevee evolved into 3 different Pokemon. I knew because I watched the show.
Yeah.
So I knew about Vaporeon, Jolteon, and Flareon. Okay, sorry. So Espeon, imagine my surprise.
Yeah.
When my Eevee just started to evolve on its own. I was like, I don't have a stone.
Yeah.
What's going on? And then this beautiful kitty cat popped up out of nowhere. Yeah. And she was mystical and magical, and I love her.
And psychic.
And then when I realized she was purple, I was like, mind blown. She's beautiful and majestic. And I was so excited. So I discovered Espeon the way that everyone should discover any Pokemon, which is by surprise.
Yeah, in the game by surprise.
Right. And so I always, this is so dumb, but I always name my Espeon Jewel. And I always name it Jewel with 2 L's because that is my last name.
Yeah, for now.
Alpha now. It's my maiden, my born last name is Jewel, which I've always loved. I've like, when I was a kid, this is really embarrassing, kind of, but I had the cat club, with my little friends on the playground. We were the cat club, and, my cat name was Diamond. Because it's Jewel. Yeah. So I've always been, annoying with my last name. I've just always really loved my last name. I think it's pretty, and I think it's superior to other last names, and so I named my Espeon Jewel because she's superior to other kitties.
Wow, that's okay.
Yes. But yeah, Espeon, top tier. Don't care how many other evolutions they come out with, she'll always be the best one.
Do you always try to have an Espeon in your party?
Oh, 100%.
In, like, your main game?
Yeah, if I can. I do.
So as a rule, I try to only use the new Pokemon of a new game when it releases, but I also always try to have a Sparky in my party.
I do. I even in this last game, with the typing, I was like, I really want to try to get a girl Eevee with a psychic typing, or what's it called? Terratype. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So I wanted to try to get it, but of course the only girl Eevees are so hard to come by. Yeah. It has to be a girl because it has to be Jewel, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And I ended up choosing a steel one, so Espeon has this giant axe.
You can change that. We'll talk about it later.
Shut up! No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
All right. Well, anyway, now that you know who the expert is on this subject, it's not me. I'm just a lover of Pokemon. I don't claim to be an expert in anything.
I don't claim to be an expert either.
Does.
No. It's just when we're both going to learn, because there's a lot that we both don't know about this.
You will soon find that he is an expert, and I am not.
I am far from an expert.
Well, anyway. But yeah, that's my favorite Pokemon.
Yeah.
Sticking to it. Love me some Espeon. Oh my gosh, and Pokemon Coliseum, where you just have an Umbreon Espeon.
Yes.
That should be every game. Every game should start with Espeon.
Oh, man.
So cute.
Good times.
Good times.
This is episode 0 of Another Pokemon Podcast.
Wait, hold on. Where can everyone find you on the internet?
Everyone can find me on the internet at Galutrad. That's Galutrad. I do SEO very well, so you can just Google Galutrad. You can find my website, my Twitch channel, YouTube, pretty much anything that I have.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I'd like to say that everyone can find me at Rebellity on everything, but unfortunately Instagram hates me. So it's at I_am_Rebellity, which is so annoying. But anyway, but yeah, and if you're coming from AZP, Rebel Audie is the same thing.
Yes.
So that's me.
We like to give David a hard time about that.
We have to, yeah. Other Rebel Audie has grown on me. So if you want me to be Rebel Audie, if you want me to be Rebellity, whatever pick your poison.
Your boat.
Yeah.
And then you can find us at Another Pokemon Pod.
At Twitter.
Everywhere.
X.
On X, Twitter, Instagram. But that's Another PKMN POD. All right. And I hope you all have a wonderful. I'm wanting to end this the way I end my streams. Do you want to just to throw back to Kate?
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
That wasn't as cute as Kate's. Is it really recording?
Yeah, it's really recording.
Oh no.